Okay, Dr. Saab, Dr. Sohail, the question that's continuously looming in my mind about Iqbalian concepts is that the very famous concept of his poetry, khudi. It is a very famous notion that the concept of khudi, which we people think that it was his own creativity. But many thinkers and many philosophers in West think that no, he borrowed this very idea from the West. How much truth this very notion holds? Please your views on this.
Iqbal's idea of khudi, if you read his whole trajectory from being, you can say Iqbal was on the borderline of East and West. He could simultaneously swim across both civilizations or cultures or thinkers, and somehow develop a sort of a tapestry or a Weltanschauung or a thing where you can identify his ideas both as if they are from East or from West. But at a deeper level, the more important question is, did he appropriate or misappropriate Western ideas or constructs or in the age he was living, or did he was basically what I should say defendant or reluctant apologist of Eastern thought process. You can have both these two polar views, but in between you can have a view that he was the best, what I should say, he could best syncretize the best elements of East and West. So if I'll take this point of view, not these other two extremes, that he had a syncretic approach of trying to just take elements of Eastern mysticism and Western scholasticism, or the sort of philosophies which were embodiment of late 19th century or early 19th century and continuing thereof. So what sort of synthesis did he arrive at? So the idea of khudi. So if you read Arbery, if you read even when Iqbal wrote Asrar-e-Khudi and Rumuz-e-Khudi, in those very times, Nicholson somehow translated that Persian thing in his
English literature.
English literature. So that way he was well placed to see things from both lenses. So the idea of khudi, you can say there are various evolutions. Even the idea of realization. For example, if you read khudi or khud ashnai in Urdu, or self-realization, you can say.
Okay.
Or even if you say, if I just khudi ki zad mein hai sari khudai, zameen o asmaan o arsh o kursi, ya khudi tu khud pooch bata teri raza ki. So the idea of khudi as self within the self. So how you can realize that self? So it's a very idea. You can say there is something in Muslim mystical thought, there is something called Insan Kamil. There is a what I should say mystic, Abdul al-Karim al-Jilli. He has written this Insan Kamil. So Insan Kamil was a idea, a mystical and a profound embodiment of a mu'min or a perfect man who had best values of what in Islamic what I should say idiom would call a mard mu'min, or a person who could realize that ultimate. Or so you can see it in the background of how Nietzsche saw Superman. So a lot of people basically they conflate the Insani Kamil, which is the embodiment of that thing, or which is realization of that khudi, within the background of Nietzsche's Superman, who could just evolve the idea of ethicality in the Nietzsche's Superman somehow can be seen through a different lens. So you can say Nietzsche's Superman, the idea of power as an ultimate thing is an end in itself. while in case of Mard Mumin or Insani Kamil, we can say, so it's a evolution. The idea is that it's a unfolding or realization of plan for which we call something called ashraf. Man is ashraful makhluqat. He is ashraf. He has been born as ashraf. So this is in a brief sense. Now then you can also have the ideas of khudi in the sense the realization of yourself. So Iqbal also negotiated when he wrote it. There were various ideas. So he was also navigating his idea of self from an Eastern mysticism, whose proponents in Islamic tradition have been Ibn Arabi, and so he was somehow simultaneously repellent of idea of inaction, which leads to that realization. Which Hindus in Hindu philosophy we say that the idea of self-realization leads you to some mystical thing. You leads to sort of inaction, and you go to mountains and other things. So the Iqbal's idea of khudi was not realization of that kind. So in a way, Iqbal's idea of khudi, he carefully navigated or that idea. He was not totally. He converted to that idea, that mystical interpretation of Islam or Hinduism, where the realization should lead to inaction. So his realization of that khudi was active participation in the activities of the universe, or social life or collective life, as well as self-purification towards the realization of that higher.
Okay, thanks. So to sum up in just few words, what will be your stance? To just in few words to sum up all this discussion or the explanation you gave.
So I can say this is what I said, that Iqbal's idea of khudi is somewhat you can say it's a syncretic idea of trying to navigate between modernity, the challenge of modernity.
My point was his own creative thought, khudi.
So it was, the synthesis was his own.
Yeah,
so
that's the point.
That's unique. You can say the originality was he could synthesize in a unique way. So the ideas were there.
Yeah.
So the point is that how he could synthesize the elements
and executed it in the best
East
way.
and West in the age he was living in.
Yeah, and which finally appealed to even the ordinary man.
So people take it different schools took it to different things. They could take it. Depends upon whom you are addressing.
Thank you, Dr. Sabit. So another question to add to this, very short one, just coming into my mind. How can you link this khudi concept of Iqbalian thought with the religious perspective? For example, the very famous verse of Iqbal, khudi ka sirre niha la ilaha illallah, khudi hai teg fisa la ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah being the base. And
La ilaha means you can say it, that realization of that ultimate.
No, I mean to say.
So it's a journey. So khudi ka sirre niha.
Yeah.
So it's a journey towards that. So khudi is not something static mosaic.
Okay.
So you are realizing yourself towards higher thing, and in the highest of highest, you can say the God or ultimate. That's the highest. So it's a continuous realization, and you are working on that realization in different manifestations.
And thank you very much, Dr. Sab. And finally, you are working on that very book as well, Iqbal's Iqbal's thought on recurrence. What is that actually? What is that book? No, the book here Iqbal wrote, the lectures he delivered in Allahabad. Reconstruction of religious thought. And you are working on that as well. When your audience and they are waiting for it impatiently. So please, for them.
So you are saying it's a sort of, maybe we'll just see it.
Maybe in a month or two, like that, or even.
We'll see.
You're working still on it.
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
So nice of it. Thank you. May Allah bless you.
Okay, thanks.